Those are beautiful Packards out there, Rolls Royces, Ferraris, there's all sorts of amazing cars. And then there's these, and that's why you're here. Well, this can't be Tom Cotter because look, he's got a tie on, a jacket. You know, what's he doing here at a fancy car show? Well, this is what I do when I'm not wearing blue jeans and have dirty hands. This is an exhibit called Cars of the Barn Find Hunter, and we're at the Amelia on Concours d'Elegance. This is a class of cars I put together. Those are beautiful Packards out there, Rolls Royces, Ferraris, there's all sorts of amazing cars. And then there's these, and that's why you're here. So I'm just going to go down these cars and just show you the collection of cars where it's not the car and how authentic it is, it's the story behind the car. 1965 GT350 Shelby, all right, the first year of the Shelby Mustang, and this one was owned by a gentleman who owned a number of them in Georgia. He had the car covered with canvas and raccoons. You know, raccoons when they eat, they have to get rid of whatever they eat and drink. That cover was saturated, piles of raccoon droppings, and that's what did it to the paint job right here. But this car is actually a 26,000 mile car. It's amazing. The worst part of the car is the cowl right here, but if you look at the seats, they're original. It's got the original wooden steering wheel. It's got the back seat that's not even a back seat anymore. It's just a fiberglass tray, and that's the way they came from the factory, 1965. 34 Buick. This is an unrestored car. This car, I think, has 68,000 miles, original paint, original interior, and there's a great story about that man and that woman who drove this car down from Connecticut to Florida on their honeymoon, got married down here, and the car is still down in Florida. It's in West Palm Beach. It runs like a top. It's got a rumble seat. The daughter of that couple is here displaying the car and explaining about this car. She finally got a ride in it after a whole life. She finally got a ride in it the other day. This, if you've been following Barn Find Hunter for a number of years, you know that this car means a lot to me. This was my car for several years. It was a car that I found while filming an episode. It's a 67 Ford Country Squire, and it's a rare, rare car. It's the only Country Squire wagon ever built with a 428 cubic inch engine, a 4-speed transmission, bucket seats, and a console. Only one ever built like this, and it was only built because Lee Iacocca said, yeah, what the heck, let's build it. So they built it. It's a one of one. It's got a great history. I sold it in 2020 to a man who was like perfect next caretaker for this car. All the little things that I didn't do, fixing the electric windows and the tailgate hinges and stuff, he's done it, and he loves this car. And here he is at Amelia Island. Wow. I think it's universally agreed upon that one of the most desirable collector cars in the world is a Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Gullwing. This is was found in a barn after not having been driven or really cared for a long, long time. It was found by a collector who said, you know what, I'm not going to restore it. I'm going to leave this the way it is. So the paint that's peeling off, it's peeling off. And he puts linseed oil on there so it doesn't keep rusting, but he's going to leave it the way it is. The engine's been rebuilt, so it runs perfectly. It's got the toolbox, and it's got the rare option here of Rudge knockoff wheels. One bolt takes the wheel right off. A 54 Corvette, only a few of these were painted not white. 53s were all white, and only a few 54s were painted something other than white. And this one was painted blue. Well, after it was painted blue, it was painted like that rusty kind of metallic on top of it. But this is an unrestored car that Jamie Waters owns. He lives in Westchester, New York, and he drives the wheels off it. This is a 6-cylinder Stove Bolt 6 or Blue Flame 6 with 3 carburetors. These came with automatic transmissions. This one's been converted to a manual gearbox. And believe it or not, it was drag raced for a while in the 6-cylinder class. So he has no intention of doing anything with this car except enjoying it the way it is.
While traveling in Alaska, a bear broke into a man's Shelby Cobra, completely ripping the top open.
Massive amounts of damage over a box of Fig Newtons. I'll tell you what, Diane, I sure hope he has good insurance.
3 friends and I took our Cobras up to Alaska. Everything was going great till my friend Woody put Fig Newtons behind the seat. We woke up the next morning, a bear had ripped the roof off, put some dents in the body, Hagerty's never going to pay for this because I'm thousands of miles from home. You know what? They wrote me a check, said have a nice day. Just go to Hagerty.com and get a quote today. This is a Lancia, a car you don't see very often in the United States, but this one has a great competition history. It's one of 14 rally cars, factory rally cars, that were built by the factory to rally around the world. Well, this one came to the States. It actually was in Texas for a long time. It ran the Mexico 24-hour rally, 24 hours in this car. If you know anything about Ferraris, the name Canetti might ring a bell. Canetti, Luigi Canetti was the original importer for Ferraris. Well, his son, Coco Canetti, this was the car that he used to get his SCCA driver's license back when he was a young man. So this car has lots of competition history. Here it is racing at Lime Rock, lifting a wheel. And again, you know what, instead of restoring this car, it's going to just leave it the way it is. Mechanically, it's all superb, and you're just going to leave it the way it is because it gets more attention like this than if it were parked with the pretty cars over there with a fresh paint job. This is a pretty amazing car. It's a 1958 Porsche 356. The gentleman bought this car with 41,000 miles on it. It now has 370,000. So here we are in Florida. He lives in Florida. He wanted to drive to California for some races. He's an auto enthusiast, auto racing enthusiast. So he drove from Florida to California by way of Montana. All right, so you can't get there from here. So he's hit all 48 of the lower states in the United States driving this Porsche. I don't think he's ever washed it. It's mechanically, it's in fine shape. He keeps it maintained. His goal next is to drive it through all the Canadian provinces and then up to Alaska. And then the final frontier is that he'd like to take it through Central America down to South America and tour all through the Andes Mountains. Amazing story, amazing car. This is an unrestored Model T Touring. It's a 1911, so that's called the brass era. They had brass radiator. It's been painted once in the 40s. Believe it or not, it's a very dark blue. The interior is original, the top's original. So take a look at that. I mean, if you think about 1911, that's 112, 113 years ago. The engine's been gone through. It runs like a clock. It's a crank start, and the family, enjoys the heck out of it. You can see they dress in costume. They dress in period clothing to suit the 1911 style. See, it's starting to rain here. So people are starting to cover cars up, which is sad. And we have one more car left in the barn find category here. And again, this is a car that I own. It's a 1952 Cunningham C3. It was built by a guy named Briggs Cunningham. He built 25 cars like this in West Palm Beach, Florida. They built the chassis, the engines, the transmissions, all that stuff, and then they shipped it to Italy. And you can see a little V there. It's the body by Vignali. It was bodied by Vignali, the same company that built bodies for Ferrari and others. It's made of aluminum, but it's an American hot rod with an Italian body. It's got a 331 Chrysler Hemi engine with 4 single-barrel carburetors. It's got a 3-speed manual gearbox. I decided I'm not going to restore it. I'm just going to leave it the way I found it, although we restored it mechanically. So the engine runs great, the brakes are safe, they've got good clutch, all the electrics work. And I want to show off here for a second. Yeah, isn't that a tiny shifter?
Oh my God,
It's like a pencil.
Dare I say cute? I mean, I'm sorry.
So I didn't touch the gas pedal or anything, right?
You know it was going to do that.
I knew it. So, in '52, there was no such thing as a small block Chevy. There were basically two modern V8s, a Cadillac 331 and a Chrysler 331. And then there was a Ford Flathead. But Briggs Cunningham had the ambition of going to Le Mans and running and racing and potentially winning 24 Hours of Le Mans. So he decided to go with the Hemi engines. That's the good news. The bad news is it's a heavy, heavy engine. It weighs 750 pounds. So because that engine weighs so much, the car had to weigh so much. So it's a 3,400 pound car. Some of these were raced, but they were made as a road car. 25 were made, 20 coupes like this one, and 5 convertibles. And then he made 9 race cars as well. And did race Le Mans, and he finished 3rd twice. He finished 4th. He won at Watkins Glen, he won at Elkhart Lake, and he won at Sebring. Sadly, he never did win at Le Mans, but it's a great story. He was an amazing human being, and I'm lucky enough to have one of his cars. Amelia Island is one of the most prestigious concours d'elegance in the world. I've been a judge here for 25 years. It's a great place. You should make it a point to come next March, first weekend in March. Check this out. There are cars and coffee, there's Radwood, there's lemons, auctions, there's seminars, and every one of these people are car geeks just like you and me. Happy hunting.